Hi, I'm John Townsend. Let's talk about our self talk. You know, we all have other talk, which means we talk to people we care about and people at work, our family and business, and this sort of thing, and we have these conversations. But you're probably aware that our brains do something else, which is that we talk to ourselves. And we talk to ourselves about ourselves, and we talk to ourselves in an evaluative way, sometimes a really tough, maybe judgmental, evaluative way. It's like if you saw the movie Pinocchio, he's got little Jiminy Cricket on his shoulder, and Jiminy Cricket's always saying, well, don't go with the lost boys, don't do this. He's like warning him. That's a good thing, but sometimes our self-talk is not so great. So I want to talk about what self-talk is so you'll understand it, but then how we can use it to make life better and not just as its whipping person. This comes from the science that's called metacognition, which actually means thinking about thinking. When we think about what we're saying, that's metacognition. I'm thinking, why did I do that? Some people have very little metacognition. When they leave a party, they just kind of think, well, what's next? What can I eat when I get home? But metacognition means that we start thinking, how did I sound? Did I talk about myself at the party too much? Or did I tell the truth? Or was I kind? Or did I make it about me or whatever? And so that's where the self-talk comes in, is that we're always kind of checking ourselves out. If you go to Psalm 139, verses 23 and 24, for example, David talks about that. He says, God, search me and know me and try my anxious heart and see if there be any hurtful ways in me and lead me in the everlasting way. Like, get inside here and figure out what I'm doing with my motives. So first off that really helps is to begin to be aware that you do this, and that's not a bad thing. So self-talk is not being selfish. It's really just checking out things. How did it, when I talked to my kid, how was I? When you're walking away from a conversation with your kid, or when I made the presentation at work, how did it go? How do I think I did? That really helps us to learn and grow and make changes that we need to change. But another thing to do is to realize that you've got to make sure your self-talk is telling the truth. So if you came away from that conversation with your kid thinking, I'm the worst parent in the world, I'm hopeless, my kids ought to be in foster homes because I'm so bad, it's really helpful to get the benefit of the perspective of other healthy, safe people in your life and go to them and say, I am beating the mess out of myself about this, and because it didn't go well with my 12-year-old. And they go, yeah, you didn't do great. You kind of blew up, or you let them run the show, but you're learning from that. So make sure that the truth is being told in your self-talk, and if it's not, get some accuracy in there. Go to your Bible. What does the Bible say about us? It says that we're not perfect, but we're fearfully and wonderfully made, and that you're a pretty decent person even though you're a sinner. So get the truth in there. That'll help correct the self-talk. Here's another one, is make sure that there's more positive than negative. We're really mean to ourselves, like, I'm such a loser, I didn't do good at work, I'm not a good parent, I'm not a good Christian, I don't know, I'm a bad influence on people, I'm hopeless. I'm writing a book on all the awful things we say to ourselves, because there's a lot, and I've been studying it for a long time. There are hundreds of awful things we say to ourselves, because we really can't tolerate more negatives in our self-talk in a given day than positive. We feel too judged and discouraged, and we just give out of gas. So don't ever be untruthful, but make sure that your self-talk is, you did good there, or you're not proud about this, but you'd like to celebrate the fact that you did a good job on the test, or at work, or as a spouse, or as a date, or whatever. More positives than negatives. And look at the tone of your self-talk. We know in communication research that the tone of any kind of a talk is actually more important than the words themselves, the way it conveys and communicates. And so instead of that angry tone about, there you go again, you let everybody down, you're on the shelf, that harsh tone, give yourself a nice tone. And it goes like something like this. Yeah, you didn't do well in the presentation. You weren't as effective as you want to be, and you sort of forgot a lot of things. But, you're trying hard, and your company believes in you, and you're going to learn a lot for the next time. Those sorts of things make a big difference. So self-talk's important. Make it your friend and not your enemy, because it can be really helpful to you. Jiminy Cricket really did help Pinocchio. So any kind of questions you've got about life or spirituality or counseling or relationships, call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.